Welcome back to another week in my life. We are feeling overwhelmed right now, and normally I wouldn't vlog this, but I actually think it's going to help a lot of people because I know a lot of us often feel overwhelmed, especially if you're a founder. So I'm going to document my week managing everything while still maintaining sanity and not burning out and doing all the things. And I think it's good I'm filming because it keeps me accountable, but let me backtrack a little bit and explain why I feel overwhelmed. Basically, I feel overwhelmed because I have too much on my plate, which is typically why a lot of people feel overwhelmed. And I'm in this weird transition period with my business and also with my personal life. So in my business, I still have clients from Recloseted. I'm still working with some amazing sustainable fashion brands, and I am so deeply passionate about those brands and those clients I'm working with, which is why I'm still working with them. But I still have a few that I'm working with. And then with my new business, the GTM consultancy that I started, and if you haven't heard, I started a new GTM consultancy. I vlogged it, so you can watch that. But with that, I have some clients that I'm working with as well. So it's almost like running two different businesses at the same time because I still have clients from my old company, trying to manage that. Also, personally, I'm transitioning. So right now I'm living in London, but we're moving back to Canada soon. And so in the process of trying to hang out with a lot of my friends, soak up London and Euro summer and all the things, but there's that piece. And then in between, there's like content. So the podcast, Instagram, newsletter, all the stuff. So it's just like a lot of stuff happening at once. And I'm also transitioning in two different areas of my life. Listing that out, it just makes sense. I'm overwhelmed. But whenever I do feel this way, the very first thing I do is just take pause. And then I ruthlessly prioritize. I write down my overarching goal, my vision and my mission, if you will. And then I take a look at everything that's on my plate. And then I ruthlessly take off anything that's not going to help me get to my goal. Because again, the reason why you feel overwhelmed is because you have too many things and we need to prioritize. Sometimes it can be easier said than done. I do think that being really realistic with what you can accomplish can help with this. I have a limited amount of time left in London, and as a result of that, I do want to prioritize certain things. I want to prioritize networking, meeting people in person, my friends, hanging out and traveling and all that stuff. I've made time for that. I blocked it off in my calendar. From there, I have the remaining time for work. With that time, I need to be so ruthless with it. I find that sometimes, especially with like editing the podcast as an example, I will edit sometimes for hours and hours if I don't time constrain myself because I do have very strong perfectionistic tendencies, if I'm honest. And this is not like what's your weakness interview question. I'm like, I'm a perfectionist. Like, no, this is not it at all. Like, genuinely, it can be bad sometimes. And so I need to just set aside, let's say, 3 hours to edit a podcast. And then whatever I can accomplish in the 3 hours, that's it. It's going live. That is it kind of thing. I need to block off that time in my calendar and just set those time constraints. Of course, with client work as well, I can continuously do more work for clients. I can continuously go above and beyond. But in the season where I just am so overwhelmed, I also need to set boundaries as well. And then just really playing a lot of calendar Tetris. That is how I'm managing it. That's how I've decided to do it. But again, it's just around looking at your vision and mission, what is going to get you there, ruthlessly prioritizing everything. And I like to implement something I call the 3 Ds. Whereas you delete anything that is not going to help you get to your goal, you delay anything that does not need to be done right now, and then you delegate. So anything that does need to be done and does need to be done right now, if you don't have to do it, get someone else to do it. And so that's been really helpful. I've taken a bunch of things off and I've put things kind of in the parking lot or in the nice to do section. I felt a lot better after I was able to map out it on my calendar. So once it's in my calendar and I can see, I actually do have enough time to do it. And then, of course, it goes back to the point I made about being realistic. I know for myself, a podcast takes about 3 hours to edit. And if I only give myself an hour, like that's just not realistic. And then I feel bad about myself when I can't edit like 3 episodes, let's say, because that's just not realistic. I feel better, but I do have a jam-packed week. Today, for the rest of the day, I am going to chip away at some of the work that I just mentioned. And then I will bring you along the rest of this week. After my workout, I met up with my friend Dan, who's the founder of Calda, an LGBTQIA mental health app, and we did a workshopping session. Here, I am building out his product value ladder because we realized he was inadvertently building two products at once, which is why things were so difficult for him. So we split it out into two products as it should have been from the beginning, and I'm just explaining to him how he's going to be getting leads, how he's going to turn them into paid customers, and then ultimately how he's going to really be able to achieve his goals at the end. So the value ladder, if you haven't heard of it before, is just your customer's journey with your business. And typically you draw them in with something that's free or with something that is just like a lower ticket offer that they don't really have to think about. Hopefully you over deliver, there's a ton of value, and then they keep going on to your next product and then the one after that. And then that's how you develop a loyal customer and increase your lifetime value as well. If you haven't already, I previously showed you another behind the scenes of a go-to-market strategy session with Dan. I'm going to show it on the screen, link it in the card, so you can check that out after as well. If you want to learn more about Dan's story, why he started this brand, his learnings fundraising, his pre-seed round, which I thought were really helpful, and he was super candid and vulnerable about it, I will leave his Confessions of a Conscious CEO podcast interview on the screen and in the cards as well. Highly recommend you check both out if you haven't already. Really enjoyed helping him figure out how he was going to reach his goals and working backwards with him to show him that his goals are attainable. He just needs a strategy to get there, some structure, and he just needs to understand how his target customers are going to flow and interact with his business at every single touch point. And if you're watching this going like, oh, I wish I could get your thoughts on my go-to-market strategy, well, you can. I have a free GTM Essentials course where it is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to get all the essentials of go-to-market, from what type of product you should be developing to making sure that it's going to solve a pain point and a problem so that there's value and people are going to buy it, to your branding, your marketing, your selling, your launch plan. All of that is covered in 12 bite-sized lessons alongside a Notion workbook so that you can work through everything. I also give you templates and things that you can just snag. So again, this is absolutely free. I have poured my decades of experience building billion-dollar brands, as well as scaling two of my own ventures. So check it out if you haven't already. You can register and enroll for free right now using the link down below or at selinaho.com/GTM-essentials. I'm doing some batch filming today, so I just thought I would pop in and talk since everything's set up already. But on my batch filming days, I really try to manage my energy because obviously as I'm filming, I'm trying to remember things and also be a little bit more passionate about things. So it does take a lot more energy, and I am introverted. So filming, I find, does take a lot out of me, but I love doing it. Don't get me wrong, but it just means I have to manage my energy. So I have talked about this concept before, but I have something called a self-care menu. And in case you haven't heard about this before, I wanted to bring it up again because I feel like it's something that's really changed the game for me and allowed me to be a lot more proactive versus reactive with my mental health and taking care of myself and ensuring I don't burn out. So with my self-care menu, I created this when I was in a calm, emotionally regulated state, and it is just on the Notes app on my phone. So I have 3 different categories. I have a low lift category, medium lift category, and then high lift category. And the low lift is just doesn't cost any money, super easy to do, don't have to leave my house. It's great. And that for me personally just looks like sleeping, meditating, taking a bath, all those things. And then for the medium lift items, I like to do a Pilates class, or I'll go for a walk, or I'll go for lunch with a friend, something like that. And then the high lift items are something like a vacation, or a staycation, or a facial, or a massage, or whatever it is. So I highly recommend you do this. And then whenever you're feeling a little bit tired or exhausted, pull out your self-care menu and then take a look and see what you could do. As you know, I'm feeling overwhelmed already. I'm maybe a 6 out of 10, and when I'm at a 10 out of 10, I'm burnt out. So I do want to try to be a little bit more preventative. So after I film, I am going to do a bath today. I'm really excited. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm going to turn it off, put it in the other room, and then not look at it until tomorrow, which I'm so excited about. So I'm going to crack on with filming, and then I'll see you tomorrow. And the next day, I went to this bookshop / coffee shop in East London. It's so cute. It is such a hidden local gem. So if you're looking for more local things to do in London, highly recommend this stop. And I was working on giving feedback on Dan's app. So going through the wireframes, making sure that everything made sense, leaving notes on there. And again, if you want to snag my go-to-market strategies, make sure you take my free GTM Essentials course. A lot of the stuff is in there, and so you can leverage that for your business. The next day, we went to play Padel with our friends, and it was our first time playing Padel. I actually played tennis. My dad is a tennis coach, and so I grew up playing tennis. And so I was like, oh, how hard can Padel be? The thing with Padel, though, is you can actually hit the walls as well. So it's like if tennis and squash had a baby. So the walls part was kind of throwing me off. I had to fast forward all of this because we were playing not very well. But it was still really, really fun. I mean, I got a couple of shots in, but as you can see, I play Padel like I play tennis. I don't actually know how to play Padel. And then after that, we walked around with sunset. And we went for dinner. So it was super, super cute. The next day, I had the privilege of attending my friend's Tiny Flat concert. My friend Min Young, we went to school together. She has the voice of an angel, and her friends, Ben, who's on the keys, as well as JP, who sings. I'm hoping YouTube doesn't flag this for copyright, but I'm going to leave like little snippets of them singing so that you can just hear how good they are, how talented they are.
So I take all of me. Things were destined to change. Oh. So many people use your name in vain. Well, I'm that strong. Well, I'm not wrong. Yeah.
If you watched up to here, thank you. You are a real one, and I appreciate you. And if you're watching this and you feel overwhelmed, I hope this helps you. Everyone feels overwhelmed, but again, overwhelm is just a sign you have too much on your plate. So you just need to take a step back, breathe, pause, figure out what your priorities are, implement the 3Ds, delegate, delay, delete, and then also make sure you're taking care of yourself. Look at your self-care menu, see what you can do, so what you can implement. Make sure you're not falling into perfectionistic tendencies. Time block everything, and I believe in you. You got this. You can do it. You'll get through it. I got through it. I feel so much better this week. I find sometimes it's just the sensation of knowing you have so much to do and not enough time. So again, just like getting rid of anything that's fluff that you don't need to do, and then just being very, very specific and targeted with it. So I'm going through this with you. We got this, and I will see you in the next video.